So I guess we are good to go. Hello. Hello, everyone. Happy to have you here. I hope some of you already know me. How many of you know me? Please raise your hands. No, decent amount, but for those of you who don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Vadym Pinchuk, as you can already see on this slide. Yeah, that's me, this guy. Working in mobile development for more than 10 years, but yeah, I found Flutter interesting and promising, so I switched to Flutter, back to Android, and now I'm Flutter back. So I'm happy to combine some different ideologies or to combine different approaches just to experiment, just to try. So that is why today we are speaking about how we can apply modifier approach in Flutter. Not that hard, not that super rocket science, but anyway, let's go to agenda. Today we're going to speak briefly about widgets. Not all of the widgets, but what the groups of widgets we have, roughly, not by document. Then where modifier comes from, definitely it's Compose, it's Android side, Android World, a bit different thing. But it's droidcon, so I decided to combine everything. And then how we can apply modifier paradigm, I think, in Flutter. And the main question is why? So let's imagine situation. We need to develop a screen. Simple thing. How we are going to approach it? UI creation flow is pretty straightforward. We just first understanding what we want to show. Actually, just images, text, whatever. Then we are starting creating. We are creating first main visual components. I will go briefly over what I mean on the main visual components. Starting layouting or placing them in respect to each other. So just horizontally, vertically, in stack, whatever we want. Then adding some super precise spottings to make it nice, to make it pixel perfect. And when our UI is ready, all the Flutter magic happens, where all the measuring, layouting, and painting happens. But we are not really interested in that area. We're interested in creation phase only. And that's actually where we have more impact or more time we spend in it. So let's go through each of these categories of the widgets one by one. I say main visual components are like images, text, icons, or buttons. Definitely a bit more, but I don't want to overcomplicate this slide. So main visual stuff which people can see on the screen. Then we have layouts. Layouts are row, column, wrap. Depends on your needs, depends on what you want to do. And then all the other, let's call it service widgets, because I don't want to say it's layouting or styling or rendering widgets. It's service. They are serving for us to decorate our main visual components. So padding, sized box, align, many more. And it is actually where modifier is really useful. Modifier is really used in Compose. So modifier is coming from Compose to help us decorate. It is coming from Android World. That's not a secret. And modifier itself just a plain Kotlin class, plain Kotlin object, which helps have some configurations, and it helps to decorate composables. So on the right, you can see a simple example. It is a column, of course. It places two composables, two texts vertically. And this column has a modifier. This modifier has padding, and it says that it should take the full width. Nothing really complex, but the thing is we are actually omitting here padding widget because we don't need it. And we are omitting, actually it is a thing from composable or from a column, but column parameter, but doesn't matter. So we are omitting some service widgets, let's say so. Simple as is, main visual components placed in a column. That's it. But what modifier can actually do? This information is taken so completely from the official resource. It can help to size, layout, change behavior or appearance of the composable. It can also add some accessibility levels, so probably in Flutter world it is semantics, I guess. Process user inputs, I would leave it for widgets, but in composable it's a bit different story. And also add some high-level interactions like drag, zoom, scroll, click. Yeah, why not? This is official thing and the official document. And in a Flutter world, for each of these things, we have a widget. So at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lots of them. But in a composable, we don't. And that's nice, to be honest. I think it is nice. So I think this question is important. What the problem we are trying to solve? It happens so there is no problem at all. I mean, if there were a problem, I don't think we were doing the Flutter development. But we are trying to introduce a meaningful styling approach to keep all the service wrappers widgets in the one place, so it will be consistent over the application. It will be beautiful. It will be easier for Android and iOS engineers to wrap up on Flutter, at least for those who are used to Compose and SwiftUI. And of course, it kind of will reduce the code lines in a project, at least on the big projects. Yeah. How can we make it in Flutter? First and first, we can just use a simple language feature, extensions. Extensions are a great thing to use an object, so we are not changing on the classes. We're not changing the class behavior, but we can add just super extra features. And in that way, we can have an extension on the widget to wrap our widget with some other service widget. Let's say so. So in this example on the left, I have with background or with padding. Just simple one, it wraps with a colored box, it wraps with a padding, as is, easy readable, easy to apply. And on the right, you can see the application and the output. Easy, that's true. But that's not that good, to be honest. First and first, is it really composable modifier? Or compose modifier, sorry. Not really, because we don't have any modifier anywhere. It's just extension method or set of extension method. It's rather closer to SwiftUI builder pattern. And people are complaining about it. It's not Flutter style. That's the last point. But that is why I have the SwiftUI logo here. Also, can this modifier configuration be transferred to child of the parent widget? No, not really, because we need to apply it straight again and again and again on each child, on each parent. So that's not that scalable, let's say. And are there any performance implications? Definitely, I would say yes, on a big applications, yeah. If we're speaking about some static UI, that's simple, that's not that hard. But if we're speaking about high performant applications with rendering and like lots of rendering, I would say, then we can definitely refer to the video of Craig, where he says that helper method is not that performant comparing to the separate widget which we are creating in a separate class. So that's not that good. That's not good at all. Definitely there are some good things. It's do what it's supposed to do, and it is really easy to understand. It's atomic, simple methods, just one wrapper over widget with one wrapper widget, or what's service widget, and easy readable, of course. But probably not what we are looking for. We need a modifier. We need. And that's where we're going to announce modifier class. It will be just a simple Dart class, so simple Dart object. Let's see what we can do. On the left, we have requirements. It should be plain Dart class, so plain Dart object. It should be mutable, preferably, and also instantiated, so reused. That is how modifier is reused and passed from parent to child. and also with deep equality check for the performance reasons as well. So we don't really want to change widget when the same modifier but with different hash code came. On the right, simple probably example. Thank you. It is a simple class, like I would say even data class, but a bit different. So it has a list of configurations, and these configurations can be added. Then we are just copying class, adding new configuration, and it will be new object. That is why it's mutable. And we can define as many configs as we want. So right now I have just with alpha here shown, but probably also with background, with opacity, with padding, with whatever. For the simplicity, I've added just this. So now we can speak about how we can apply modifier on the Flutter, because it's just like class, Dart class. First thing, we can go like the most straightforward way. It's compose-like approach. But in compose, each composable function have a modifier parameter, so we can pass it. In a Flutter, we don't really want to change our framework, and I don't think anyone will allow me to do so. But we can make our own wrappers, again, for each main visual component. We can make modified text, we can make modified image, whatever modified, and each of these widgets will have a modifier as a parameter. Nice, easy, neat, but it means for each specific implementation, for each specific wrapper, we will need to have a build method which will apply these configurations on a widget. And that's not really nice, because it means we are duplicating 3, 4, 5 times. We are duplicating all the same things. That's not nice. And yeah, actually it looks like we are creating our own design system. Is it good? Is it easy? Is it really cheap? No, it's much more expensive. So I wouldn't go this way until we can have a modifier on a simple text widget or simple image widget, framework one, I mean. That's not nice, not perfect, but we can mix and match. So instead of having each separate modifier, or modified, sorry, we have just the same modifier on the left, the same stuff. It just copy and paste, so don't worry. And on the right, you can see modified widget. It is one wrapper. It has modifier as a parameter, and it has a child as a parameter. Easy? Yeah. So what it do? What does it do? What did it? You got it. It just gets all the configurations and then apply all these configurations on a widget in a build method. So we are not moving build widget creation into any helper method. We don't really do all this magic, but we do as it should be inside of build method. Here you can see an example of alpha. Oh, I was smart enough to place the same config. Property key. I didn't change a key. Anyway, easy. Yes, we can use modified widget over anything we want. But on this example, I've shown just text. So we have a simple modified wrapper over text. You can clearly see that child is only one. And we can apply modifier configurational object with all the properties we want on this widget. So we apply padding first. Let's look on the left one. We apply small padding, so we have just some space around the text. Then we apply color. So background is orange, just trust me, it is orange. Then we apply padding again, but a bit bigger just to see that it's different padding. And we apply another background. So right now it's blue. I mean, all of these colors are from a conference theme, so trust me. And then we apply an alignment just to have it centered, because I don't want it to be somewhere in the status bar. Just to take a proper screenshot. Yeah, easy. Now we can see clearly where service stuff happens, or service decoration happens. And now we can see also what the main visual component is. Main visual component is text. Configuration stuff is padding, background, and alignment, in this case specifically. On the right, the same stuff, same, but different. But we changed a bit of an order. and we can see how different it is because we're actually saying that order matters. That's exactly what compose modifier do. Order matters, and we're just proving that it matters. For the purpose of this, I placed this code snippet on the right. What about results? What we can say, like, is our Flutter modifier a really good one? Or is it really fitting what we want it to do? I can say that we fit with something, or we matched with the compose modifier by some stuff. So we can say that the same plain Dart class, plain Kotlin class, it also have configurations that can be used multiple times. As you've seen, background and padding we used multiple times. So we can use whenever we need or however we want. And also order matters, the same as in compose. Also, we can say that almost all, probably all of the compose modifiers can be replicated by Flutter. I mean, we can just use proper widget and replicate compose modifier, and we are done. So we are just getting rid of all the service widgets in our code base. They are all caged in one class. What's different? There is some difference, definitely. Bug it or a feature, we can say it is feature because Flutter don't give us or do not limit us. As well as we can use expanded wherever we want. We are not saying that we can't use expanded modifier, for example, in a stack. Yes, it won't work, but we're allowed to do so. In the compose world, it's not allowed to. That's what it means, scope safety. So expanded can be used in column or row, positioned in stack, and so on. I got it. I think you got the point. So some difference is still there. Probably we can work a bit more on that, but not the purpose of our talk today. We can compare at least one visible thing. It's the same widget you can see in the middle. It works the same. It looks the same, but the code is different because on the left we have modified, which has just all the stuff in a column, like we have all the modifiers configuration. And on the right we have quite big code. You can probably say that colored box and padding can be wrapped by container. Yeah, you will be right, but for the sake of example, I decided to show it as is because container is doing all this magic inside. What I want to say here, code is different, it looks different, widget tree is the same, then render object tree is the same, and we are not really changing widget because modifier is different. So on rotating the screen, we have the same object because it has the same configuration, so we are not wasting performance things, or performance, so we're not wasting memory and processor time. Sorry. That's what I wanted to achieve. So people from Android world probably will say, oh yeah, I like it because it's similar to Compose UI. People from Swift UI will probably say, it's a bit different, but still a bit more understandable because we've had the same pattern, similar, not same, similar. And I believe it is success. If you don't believe me, trust me. And that's what I wanted to say, what I wanted to show. That's what I wanted to show on the right, please. Please just pay attention to the widget. I'm really socialized widget, so feel free to connect with me. And now I'm open to your questions.